Hey guys, how's it going? Nazar here. You're watching Minimal Collector, and in today's episode, I want to talk about collectors, collecting communities, the types of collectors, from different sorts of collectors: Hot Wheels, toys, action figures, Pokemon, uh, Barbies, Labubus, whatever the hell people collect. I want to talk about the different types of collectors, and then I want to talk about the progression of regression of collecting and how YouTube has affected it, how it started innocently and beautifully, and how social media has kind of ruined it, where it just went from positive to I want to be a content creator, how it went from I want to collect for nostalgia to I want to build a business out of this, I want to be a reseller, I want to build an empire on it, and how it went from innocent and just chill to I don't know what the hell it is. So we're gonna explore all those thoughts and ideas. And as a minimal collector nowadays, someone who has been in collecting for over 25 years, someone who has collected all sorts of different things and has decluttered most of his collection. I have stuff still. I love collecting. But now it's with intention, now it's with purpose, and none of it is for financial gain. It's just a hobby. They're just toys. So if that sounds interesting to you, let's discover and explore what the hell happened to collecting. When you're already a collector, or you're just getting into it and you're like, you saw it on, social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and you're like, that looks like a lot of fun. I kind of want to collect stuff. I want my room to look like that guy or that girl, like I love all the Labubus they have up on their wall, or I love all the Hot Wheels or statues or action figures or whatever it may be. It can be anything. But today I will kind of focus on Hot Wheels and maybe toys because that's like stuff I collect. So I have a little bit of like, insider knowledge of this stuff, and uh, I've been on YouTube with my other channel, collecting and making all sorts of videos that have to do with pop culture and collecting, and so I have a little bit of insight on this, and so yeah, where to start? Like there's a difference in just collecting, being a collector, and you're doing it because it's your hobby and you like something, and getting that thing or those things makes you happy. It takes you away from everyday stress, hustles and bustles, and, all sorts of craziness that we have, especially if you have like a 9 to 5 job or, just a busy life. We all do. We all have stressful lives right now. If you don't, you're probably not watching this video. But oh, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, most of us, you know, our lives aren't, strawberries and ice cream and fun times and everybody loves you and you love everybody and everything's amazing. So, to a lot of us, collecting as a hobby gives us a little like sanctuary in our house, where we surround ourselves with, be it, you know, if you're collecting for nostalgia, kind of like I was and am, because with nostalgia, you kind of want to bring back stuff that made you happy as a child, or a teenager, and now that you're older, you're kind of like, oh, I remember that. I remember those TV shows. I remember I used to play with Hot Wheels and collect them. Or, like I remember, all those old movies and cartoons from back in the day. You might be like a, DVD, VHS, DVD, VHS, Blu-ray collector. That's why I'm basically acknowledging all collectors, not just one particular thing. So there's nostalgia, Um, then there's people that collect for um, yeah, they like the things they collect, but they're kind of doing it as like an investment. So, like sneakerheads, streetwear, all sorts of stuff like that, or art toys. Now, I'm not saying that they collect that as an investment. There's a lot of people that like that type of stuff. I have some art toys myself. But I'm just saying different categories of collectors. So, they'll buy things that are expensive, or right now as they're released, they're not as expensive, and then they kind of keep it for a couple of years, and the value on that thing grows. It becomes more scarce. You can't really buy it anymore, so the value goes up, and they can sell it. Then there's people who aren't really collectors. They're like scalpers, resellers. They might be collectors also, but there's also ones that are not, and they just buy things up that because they know those things will gain value. They know like what people are into. They've done their research, or they're just following the trends and the hypes, and they buy things and sell them. Those aren't collectors, but those are people that need to be acknowledged because they're in the community. They're in all of the communities, all the collecting communities and such. So they're a part of it, like the scalpers or investors. So there's that and that. Um, then there's people that are hoarders. They collect something because maybe they're just filling a void in their life, or they have a disorder for hoarding, and they just collect, 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 and their house just becomes filled and filled and filled with stuff. They're not necessarily like displaying it so they can enjoy their collection. They're not curating it. They're not taking care of it. Like they're not displaying it properly so that when you walk into your collection room, you kind of see everything and you enjoy it. You know what I mean? So the hoarders are basically, they're a part of it as well. And everything I'm saying here, all of those intertwine. There's people that can be a collector and a hoarder. There's scalper and collector. There's reseller and collector. There's reseller and scalper and collector. You know what I mean? They all kind of cross each other. But then there's also those collectors that stick to those particular pillars that I'm talking about. So you can be a collector and not intend at all to resell anything or sell anything. Maybe you might be forced to sell something down the line because you need money, your family needs money, your health is bad, you need to sell this stuff. That's a different thing. That's necessity. But true collectors are people that just collect for themselves because it's something they like. It's a particular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or all sorts of old cartoons that people, used to watch as kids, nostalgia, that type of thing. So, um, then we're gonna move on. Then there's the modern collectors. So this includes YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram, social media collectors. A lot of them are based on hype. They just buy things really quick and fill their house or room to make it look the way they want it to look because they saw something online and that inspired them. They're like, I want to be that person. I'm not sure what that is, but that's like a lot of that is happening now. It's like the hype collector, Labubu. They follow the hype, the trends, and they kind of try to jump on board and want to fit into that niche, of collectors. So social media in itself has like really, really, really changed things. Recently even like it's always been influential. Like backtrack a little bit, like back in the day, like YouTubers, collectors, hunters, toy hunters, they all had YouTube channels. So did I. They'd go to flea markets, they'd go to toy stores, they'd go to toy cons, stuff like that, Comic Cons. And you know, they would make videos. They would go like, let's say video games. They would go video game hunting and make videos on that at flea markets or thrift stores, stuff like that. Back then, that was so easy to do. Everything was super cheap because it wasn't hyped on, you know, social media. It wasn't popular. So the handful of YouTubers and other social media people, they genuinely recorded their journey in collecting of their passion, their hobby, you know. And they would get genuinely excited when they would find like those old video games that they had as kids, or those video games that they didn't get to have as kids because they didn't have the money, or their parents didn't have the money. Now they can, and they found it for like $5, you know, whatever, you know what I mean, for an example. And I actually used to collect retro video games too, back when it was accessible and easy and cheap, including toys and all sorts of things. And so they did all this, and YouTube viewers back then, they got inspired by that, or they were reminded of their nostalgia, and they were like, I can go and do that too, and they would, and they, you know, and that's how it grew. You know what I mean? It's kind of like my point. That's kind of like social media kind of did it. So all these new collectors started coming in, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome, man, because people found like their niche. They found their hobby again. You know, they're like, oh, that's right. You know, I'm gonna get these, you know, retro consoles, and gonna get an old boob tube, you know, from Goodwill for $20, you know, whatever, and I can play my Nintendo, my Genesis, you know. And that was awesome. I went through that. What an amazing what an amazing feeling to rediscover that. It was so great. Just nostalgia oozing. Freaking Revenge of Shinobi. Fucking loved it, man. But so so back to what I'm saying is, you know, YouTube kind of brought it back on top, and then over the years, more people kind of started becoming YouTubers, not just viewers, because people also wanted to be that guy, you know what I mean? And then there's some YouTubers that blew up because of those things in the beginning, because they were new and it was something rare. They grew really quick. And then others were like, oh, I can just go and hunt for stuff and become a YouTuber and make money off of YouTube. And they started doing that. And and then influencing more and more, because now there's more channels that are talking about the same stuff, collecting, blah, blah, blah. You know, Hot Wheels, wow, I found a super treasure hunt. You know, and then like, oh, the value of that. And that's the thing with value. The value went up too, because there's more people out there. And that's where we are today, where everything's crazy expensive. It's kind of hard to find things for cheap anymore that are retro or vintage. But so as far as YouTube goes, that's kind of what happened. A lot of viewers and collectors wanted to also be YouTubers, and that became oversaturated, man. Like, I watched it happen like since 2008ish. I've been on YouTube and I've been watching YouTubers, and you can kind of watch the progression of like passion. You know, I love this. It was about the video games. It was about the memories. But then, like, to be honest with you, you can't really blame those people. They found everything they wanted. So did I, in many different collections that I collected. You find yourself in a position where you already have your grails. There might still be one or two things you're still looking for, but you can't make that video anymore where you go to a flea market and you're like, oh my god, Top Gun, oh my god, Super Mario 3, you know? You have 5 copies already of everything. So next step for a lot of these YouTubers was, I need to focus more on YouTubing, being a YouTuber. I need to maybe get into reselling, because now that I go out, I don't need this anymore. I need to, but I still want to go hunt. A lot of people love just the hunt. I love the hunt. It's just not really there anymore. You go to toy shows to hunt. But you can still find stuff today. I have. But it's not that easy. You can't just go out once a week or a couple times a week and find stuff that's amazing that you can make a cool video about. So uh, those YouTube collectors had to evolve and become resellers or build a business around what they love, which is beautiful. That's like anyone's dream, really, especially if you don't have to have another job. You can just go out and toy hunt, video game hunt, Hot Wheels, whatever the heck you Blu-rays, VHSs, you go out and find all that. And then now you have not a collection, that's over there. Now you have inventory. And that's where a lot of YouTube collector things went. That's what it is nowadays. Again, I'm not knocking on it. I am not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just pointing out that's where it is now compared to where it was. It's totally normal, it's totally natural, that's how things are. So, but I don't really want to watch videos of entrepreneurs or people with toy stores or people with eBay stores or people with whatnot stores or people with all of the above. And all they're doing is just trying to sell. All they're doing is trying to promote. When they go to toy hunt, peg hunt, whatever the heck they're doing, they're just showing you what they got, and now they're just saying, now available for you to buy. And that innocent passion, that innocent, I'm a collector, I want to remember the old days, I have other jobs, this is just for the soul. A lot of that is just going away, man. It's becoming minimal as far as that's concerned. And so naturally, I kind of stopped watching those channels, to be honest with you. Like I said, I don't want to watch someone run a business. That's like every channel. They're just self-promotion. Buy my merch. Here's this video. Oh, I'm going to a toy store to buy stuff, and they're promoting the toy store. The toy store's promoting them. It's a collaboration. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing wrong with that. Beautiful. I am so happy for those people that are making money, they're making a living off of their passion that they used to have, for all those things that they collected. And you can even see the progression or regression in their collection. Like it used to be like all their shelves behind them, they would grow over the years, they're building their collection. And some of them now, a lot of that stuff behind them is gone. There was one YouTuber I was watching the other day. A lot of his display cases are no longer like beautifully set up with all of his favorite things like Ninja Turtles, Megazords, other statuettes, Toxic Avenger, Motu, Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, all the usual things, G.I. Joes. That stuff's no longer on their display because they actually sold most of it. Their values changed. Again, nothing wrong with that. But now the background, I'm looking at the display cases, it's like random stuff. Nothing's arranged with a passion, you know what I mean? It's just like, stick a doll in there so that it doesn't look empty. Stick this and that, and it just looked, man. And I'm very happy for their success. They have families, they have children, they have employees that they have to pay, and that's how that goes. So that's that one pillar of collector, modern collector, is that they're a YouTuber, they're an entrepreneur, they're a businessman. It's no longer just, hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to flea market, I need to find, I don't know, Super Mario World or something for my collection. Wish me luck, and that's all there is. There's no like pushing product. There's no, I'm buying this for y'all, a lot of them started saying that they're making videos for you guys. You know, I'm making these videos for you guys. I'm buying these things for you guys. And I'm like, you're not. You're 100% doing this for you. You're making this video as a self-promotion for you, and you're buying these things. Yeah, you're buying these things for us to buy from you. So that's kind of that. Okay, so that being said of the modern collector, and I told you about other reasons to collect. So now I kind of want to kind of reflect on the influenced people, the influencers, because you know it's kind of a segue. So people who are being influenced by these YouTubers, and that's my whole point. When it started, you had your YouTubers who were collectors, passion, collection, my collection room, nostalgia, stuff like that. It was awesome. It was beautiful, you know. Then they started meeting each other, collaborating, making videos, collectors getting together. They made friends. Now they're all business partners. But you know, back then that's what influenced them. They influenced each other to start collecting or continue collecting, to start a YouTube channel, to grow a community, to become friends and stuff. And now it's 2025, and ever since 2020 happened, you can all assume and understand that a lot of collectors and resellers and scalpers were created during that pandemic thing. I coughed right after that. So a lot of people were shut in their homes, a lot of people were bored, and they turned to collecting. So they turned to eBay, whatnot, whatever else online, Amazon, all that. People started buying stuff for their collection. They got influenced. They started watching YouTube and the collectors and influencers on YouTube. And that kind of created a monster, because now instead of this being a niche thing, and let's say someone goes into your house and you have a collection full of toys or Hot Wheels or whatever, they'd be like, holy crap, that's insane, man, how old are you? Or they would judge you, or they would be impressed by it, or whatever it may be, from both spectrums, or on both sides of the spectrum. You know, now it's like everyone has a collection. So, you know, oh, you have a, you know, house full of Funko Pops, you know, from floor to ceiling, Hot Wheels floor to ceiling, Labubus, whatever, you know, a house full of Blu-rays, DVDs. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that. I'm saying that it blew up. Instead of becoming a niche thing, where it was a pleasure, it was something interesting, it was something that made you interesting. Now, not everyone, but now there's all of a sudden, there was 100 people, now there's 100,000 people into this shit. And everyone's buying stuff. Prices are going up. Flea markets are drying down, and prices are going up on whatever is at the flea market. Thrift stores, insane. You can look up on YouTube, prices at Goodwill and other thrift stores just skyrocketed. All collectibles became popular, and collecting became kind of difficult and not as fun anymore. And a little side note, which is part of a reason I became a minimal collector and sold most of my collection. I have all the things that I absolutely love in that one case, and on my wall here and there, just diecast Hot Wheels action figures and some other things that I collect. Every collection that I collect has become very small. Like everything that I collect a lot of different things. Like I love collecting things specifically for nostalgia, but also some things are cool or whatever. Or someone gave me something, I love it, it has a memory attached to it, or I found it at the flea market, like something that was worth 200, but this dude's like, I don't care, take it for $10. I'm like, done. Stuff like that. where you just find these amazing deals and you have a story or you traded something with a friend. That's what I kept. But all the different collections, I basically went from 100% down to like 10, 20 tops of what I used to have. I used to be that guy that had everything. I used to sell at the flea markets. Um, and yeah, because of that, because I was at the flea markets, different flea markets, I would accumulate stuff because I'm there in the morning a couple of times a week. I'm finding things for super cheap. I'm just filling bins, and that's how it went. But anyway, yeah, I got introduced to minimalism around COVID, so it was like the opposite for me. Everyone else was growing, and I was like, eh. I did get carried away with Hot Wheels a little bit. Excuse me. And yeah, that was my last straw where I caught myself, and I was like, why do I have so many? They're awesome. I love them. I still have, a bunch, but actually not mostly Hot Wheels, mostly other brands. But that's besides the point. So yeah, 2020 was the tipping point for collectors, collecting communities, YouTubers. Everybody became a collector. Everyone became a YouTuber. Everyone became, the authority. And all those original YouTubers, like I said, that used to do stuff for passion and stuff, they're all the entrepreneurs. And now the influencing shifted. It shifted from, oh wow, he's collecting nostalgia, he's collecting stuff for the love of it, to get away from the everyday world. It's making him happy. I'm influenced by that, I want that, and I'm pursuing it. It's switched from that to where we are now, which is all these guys are reselling. All these guys have businesses. All these guys have these incredibly expensive things. Sneakerheads are flipping. That's actually dying out now, thank God. But like a lot of different things started changing in that direction. So now the younger generation that's watching YouTube, they're like, oh, so they're collecting all this stuff to resell it, and they're building an empire. Now they have money and they can have whatever they want. But like, I can do that. I can become a little reseller or scalper. I can get all these things because obviously people are buying it. They're rich, or whatever, or they're wealthy or successful, whatever. Not everyone's rich that resells toys. Trust me, I know people that resell toys. I know people that own toy stores. I know I've been in all different collecting communities for over 25 years. I know so many people from different niches and stuff like that. A lot of them would agree with me about everything I'm saying. Some might get offended, I don't know. But I've been in this long enough to see people collect, and some of them have passed away. And I've seen how hard it was for their families to deal with the stuff they accumulated. But that's a whole other thing. Man, it's sad, man. It's really sad when like someone just hoarded things their whole life, and now their kids or their wife or husband, whatever, have to deal with their collection, and they don't know the value of all this. And most of the time, that valuable collection that someone collected gets sold for pennies to some other guy who's like, oh, they didn't know what they had, type of thing. So it's kind of sad. And sometimes the family doesn't really even care. They just want it out of the house because the person they loved was consumed with collecting. Now they're like, just get it out. Give me whatever the fuck money you want. I'm fine. Or they just give it away. Or whatever. You know what I mean? So that collection has to have meaning to you, because more often than not, your family is not, they're not gonna care. You think you're saving these things so they'll benefit from it when you die? Usually no. Sometimes friends do come through of that person and they're like, I'll help you, I'll do stuff, but that doesn't happen often. It does happen though. I've helped people. And I know friends that have done that for others that have passed away. So, okay. So that's kind of where we are now with collecting. It's more about social media. It's more about promoting yourself. When people are collecting, it's FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. It's what's new, what's next. Like with Hot Wheels, for example, or any other toys. Uh, when it just comes out, people go crazy. It sells out. People instantly list it all on eBay or whatnot or whatever for like 5 times the price. You know what I mean? For example. And then a month goes by, it starts to go down in price. So it's no longer about the value of the item. Now it's just, I bought it because I could. It's still in demand for this first couple of weeks. I'm gonna flip it on eBay and make money, like times 5. Um, and that's what I see more and more these days. That's why like all these like YouTube channels and everything, I've just stepped back from that, and I'm stepping back from making YouTube videos on my other channel, where I used to do all sorts of things. I'm gonna restructure that channel, rebuild it, do something else with it. I'm always a collector. Look at all this crap behind me, but I love cool things, you know. I rather enjoy collecting things. They do make me happy, predominantly for nostalgia reasons, you know, things that I didn't have as a kid. You know, I'm Ukrainian. I left Ukraine when I was 11. We didn't have cool stuff, you know. I grew up, I was born in the 80s, so in the 80s I was a child in Ukraine. Then 90s I was in Canada, and that's when I got to enjoy my childhood because I could buy toys. I got introduced to new IPs, you know, like new cartoons, new characters, stuff like that. So in Ukraine, I only had access to like movies, you know, RoboCop, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoons and stuff like that. A lot of them I grew up watching in different languages. That's how I learned how to speak Polish because it's a neighboring country. So we would pick up on the old TV rabbit ears antennas. We'd pick up their TV stations. So I would watch like the Smurfs in Polish. And as a child, it imprinted on me. And I learned the language, you know. Fraggle Rock, I watched that stuff in Polish. But anyway, but all those movies and stuff, and all of a sudden I'm in Canada and then in America, and I'm like, oh wow, they make toys of this. These are amazing. So yeah, to me it's a whole different level of nostalgia. That's why I also collect a lot of different things, because I didn't have that as a kid. So, you know, there's a lot of different things I like. So that's my whole thing. But yeah, as far as yeah, modern collector community, it has to do with social media, because social media basically took over the world, and everybody's a YouTuber, everybody's an Instagram, whatever it's called, creator. Everyone's on TikToking, and you know, fucking, it's. I'm not even gonna go into it, but TikTok video. Oh yeah, there you go. Whoop whoop, pull over, who's there? Whoop whoop, pull over, I'm a collector. You know, or like just being like, you know, like being like, oh, I'm so like badass. I got this thing. I don't know, oh, whatever. It was just here, that's why. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like showing off that you have that thing that everyone wants, or you have that thing that everyone should want, but you have it because you're the boss. You know what I mean? You're the El Presidente of collectors, you know. And it just all looks so silly and cringe to me. I can't even. Hey man, I'm old, I guess. I don't know, but I watch somebody who like picks up an item and they're like, guys, I finally got this. I've been looking for this for like 5 months, or I've been looking for this for years. You know, like I recently got a grail of the Pit figure, the Image Comics. I've been looking for that for 10 years, man. Anyway, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, Riz, skibbity, like, fuck you, man. Like, what I watched on YouTube when I got into it all, it's just people saying that, being sincere, and they're like a kid finding what they wanted. They're like, oh man, they're looking at it with like passion. They're like, it's finally mine. I've been wanting this for so long. I've been putting money aside, or I stumbled on this at the flea market and I only paid this much for it. Do you believe that? Wow, that's so cool. And then they hang this up somewhere in a prominent spot in their collection and they're proud of it. They're like excited about it. They can tell you everything about that one item because why else collect? You know? There is. Yeah, so we've covered all of that and modern collecting with social media. Um, I truly think it did ruin collecting. Not on a personal level. If you're like me and you're a person like you're collecting because you have passion for things and you're all about that, then you're fine because you have nobody to impress. You don't need to put out 5 videos every week to keep engagement, to get some kind of feedback reinforcement from your little subscriber community who are like, yay, you got all the super treasure hunts, or like, yay, you got all those whatever and this and that, and oh dude, bro, you got that, oh, I want that so bad. And yeah, and that's another thing, what I've noticed over the years of collecting. um, Most of the comments, don't get me wrong, I've built a nice community on my other channel. uh, I've made a lot of friends. We talk all the time off the internet. And sorry, there's a daycare next to my house. It's a nightmare. But anyway, man, they broke my point. They broke my train of thought. I was gonna make a really good point too. Oh, I'll be right back. I got it. I remembered. So I really wanted to touch on this too. In the collecting sphere of YouTube, collectors, YouTubers, stuff like that. I've noticed very hardcore that nobody actually gives a shit about your collection or what you have. I've noticed on a lot of YouTubers that I used to watch and still watch now, the comments that they leave when you're showing them something you picked up, the way it comes off is they don't care that you got it. They see it on your channel that you got it because they saw your thumbnail. They're like, oh, that's the thing I want, or or trying to get, or I can't afford to get that, so they're watching someone else get it on YouTube and they're commenting, oh, dope, that's dope, bro, or oh, you the man, or oh, you lucky, or all that. And the thing is about some of those people is they want that. A lot of comments I see in those people's comments and in my own comment section sometimes is, are you selling that? Are you gonna sell it? You want to trade it? How much you want? They just want that. They're looking at your channel as if you're a reseller, and that was what I was talking about before. People are trained to be just consumers, consumerist society. That's what we've become. And just watching that is so cringe because it's like you don't care. You're just watching this thing because to you it's just a commercial, and you're trying to kind of watch the unboxing or whatever because you want it, and you really don't care about that YouTuber. Again, that's a part of that. That's fine. There's toy reviewers and stuff like that. They're doing it. A lot of them actually get stuff for free from those companies, or they're sponsored in one way or the other. So they unpack it, unbox it, and do it like that. There are a lot of YouTubers that do that because they bought it for their collection, so they're unboxing it. So, but yeah, it's become like this hollow thing where it's no longer a community of collectors that are supporting each other, that are helping each other get things that that are helping each other to get things that they want to get, to make each other happy in a friendship type of way that still exists. again, don't get me wrong. A lot of people tend to like cling onto something and then like, oh no, it's not all like that. No, I'm not like generalizing completely. I'm saying that for the most part, what you see online right now is like that. And yeah, that's why I miss the old YouTube days where people were just starting out. People with that nostalgia for 80s, 90s. YouTube's relatively new, you know what I mean? So it was just in time for that generation, like my generation, people who, it's 2025, so people who are now like in their late 30s to like mid and whatever 40s. So, man, there's a lot of noises out today. So, all those people were coming back from college or whatever, or they already have a young family, like kids are grown up enough to where they can like not worry about diapers and freaking out about things all the time. So they have a little bit of money and nostalgia's hitting them. They're like, oh, I'm an adult, I'm a father, I work all the time. I want some of these toys from my childhood. And it revitalizes them, you know. And that's what I used to love watching. That's the content I used to make as well. But now it's really hard to find that type of content. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments. If you agree, let me know in the comments, obviously. My channel is not monetized, so I'm not doing any of this for any kind of money. I'm not doing this for any kind of fame or whatever. I don't want fame. I am antisocial as fuck. When people recognize me at flea markets or toy shows, like I'm always like, don't get me wrong, I'm cool. I'll talk to people, but like, it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm too big to talk to you. It's more like I get anxious and nervous, and, you know, that's the thing. But yeah, that's what's changed. You know, in a heavy way, and that's why I don't really watch YouTube much anymore, and I don't really, you know, make those types of videos like I used to, because I no longer need to hunt for things that I'm really looking for, because at one point or another over the past 15 years, no, 20 years that I've been on YouTube, I've found what I wanted to find. I've found it 10 times over, and I satisfied that. And the only stuff that's left in my collection is those particular pieces that I wanted in the very beginning, before I got sucked into that whole collect. So yeah, I learned to find the balance in collecting. You can't make your life about collecting. Like, I know people in the Hot Wheels community, they go out to peg hunt every day. Every day they're spending money on gas. They're driving to Walmart, to Target, to other grocery stores, other places that carry Hot Wheels. That's their life. That's what they're doing. They wake up in the morning, they have to go to one or the other store to be there for the door opening. They find out, when the restocks are coming. They make friends with employees. They get the in. Some people pay the employees to give them a call when they know that something's coming in. Some people make deals in the back. This is all I've experienced and saw with my own eyes happen in my collecting career and YouTube career with collecting stuff. I've seen that. I've seen people hide stuff on their shelves. I have a whole series called The Shelf Flippers, where me and my buddy Andre would go to Target, and you pick up the bottom shelf and people hide things under there to buy later, or wait until it's on sale or whatever, or to buy as they're listing things on eBay. I've seen managers go up to something they just put up. They take things that they know is valuable, that sells on eBay. They take those things, go to the register, buy it, and then they resell it. Yeah, then there's people like pallet raiders. They wait for the next trolley to come out with all the sealed boxes, and they open them while the employees somewhere else, they do it really quick, look for that super treasure hunt. I've seen people almost come to blows in the toy aisles because, you know, they were there first, or someone snatching something out of their hand because whatever. People talk smack about each other. It turns toxic. People make YouTube videos about each other. saying all sorts of negative things just to like bring that other person down so that they can be on top and they can be viewed as someone who's a true collector, or they're the good person. Then there's people that make a career out of that. They just make drama videos, and that's where it's snowballed from passion, collecting, camaraderie, community, to reselling, business model, selfishness, FOMO, backstabbing, YouTube drama, harshness. Like, people in toy aisles, like, I've seen this, I've done it, I guess, but I've seen people more so. They walk past the Hot Wheels aisle. If there's someone in there, they kind of keep going. I've seen people give each other like death stares. Like I've gotten those before, where I go into the Hot Wheels aisle and this guy's already waiting for the guy to bring out the fresh box. He's already like looking at me like I'm his, nemesis. Like I was here first, and he's like making sure that I don't touch anything. Like it was like chill. But yeah, that's why people fight. Sometimes. And I've seen YouTubers make videos where like the doors open and they're reaching over each other's heads to get the first, Hot Wheels or the action figures or whatever, pushing each other out of the way, cursing each other out. It just, I don't know what the hell it turned into, but there it is. That's why I backed away slowly over the past 4 years or so, since like 2020, 2021. I was collecting still and doing those videos, but I slowly started backing away because I saw that it turned into a beast. It went from something beautiful, enjoyable, to I don't know what it is now. There's videos of Mattel or employees dumping out Hot Wheels or Pokemon cards or whatever, dumping it out into like a dump bin, whatever, for customers to buy, and it gets swarmed like zombies. Like, I don't know, 50 to 100 people or more just get around it, and everyone's just going through it, ruining everything else. They're bending things because they're looking for that super treasure hunt, or that hard to find Hot Wheel or Pokemon. Like they're pushing each other. They start fighting. They're like, what are you doing? What has it become, man? uh my empire of dirt, goddamn. But it just, so I started backing away. I started backing away from that. I cut ties with some other YouTubers where I've learned that they're hypocrites, that they would say one thing on their channel and then say other things to me in private about other people. It's such a backstabbing, evil, maniacal way where I'm just like, they're fucking toys, man. They're toys. Like, you value that piece of crap more than friendship with that person. You value your narcissistic personality and your personal gains more than your community. You're using your community. Like, people use their community for their own profit and benefit. Like, they're advertising themselves. Not even just the entrepreneur resellers, stuff like that, which is fine, but these people use their community to like sell stuff to them, to promote them, to get those views so they get ad revenue. They sell their merch, nothing wrong with that either, but when your intentions are not sincere, then it's not right. You know what I mean? And if all you're focusing on is promoting yourself and sending all these things to other people so that they mention your name and your YouTube channel on their channel and show how generous you are, while you're just making an investment, you're advertising yourself and your channel. That's how it is. So, man, so I've seen all this, man, and yeah, and especially the backstabbing of people, and I got in really deep with the diecast community, and the things some of these guys, like not everyone, guys, again, these are my experiences in collecting and YouTube, and I got it into like a specific, I guess, clique or group. So like, there's always all these communities, right, of people that kind of stick together. It's like between 10, 20, 30 people that they're always like kind of circling each other. They watch each other's videos. Sometimes they become friends. They send each other stuff. They got each other's backs and stuff like that. So, which is cool. I have my own community as well. Thank God most of them are amazing, good, generous, just proper people. Like, thank you, Lord. But I was in this one community and they just talked shit on each other. Like, I would get in there because I was like a part of their clique. So I never told any of them who did what. I'm not like that. I don't start drama. I don't cause drama. But they were all drama queens, man. And not all, but most. And they would talk so much smack about each other behind their backs. Like, I even took screenshots of their conversations of what they said to me. And just in case. But they would do all that negative shit. And then in YouTube videos, they're like, oh, my boy, he sent me this and this. And like, recently there's been like all this stuff about people like giving shit to Lamley. And I'm like, why? Like, why are y'all giving shit to Lamley? Like, just because he's the #1 basically diecast YouTuber? You all watch him. And then everyone's bitching about him. Oh, he's just a shill for Mattel. Like, no, your mom's a shill for... Anyway, I was gonna get X-rated there for a second. But, like, the dude knows people at Mattel. He's a part of that whole scene. There's Mattel sending him stuff. People are, like, criticizing him, like, oh, he's... Like, the way he's opening Hot Wheels and throwing them on fucking... on the ground or whatever... They're his Hot Wheels. Who cares? Who cares what he does? I've put Hot Wheels on a train track and filmed the train crush that shit. That was my Hot Wheel, bitch. I can do whatever I want to it. I have a collection of things I value, but I can do whatever I want with any of that. And these people have, like, the nerve to, like, criticize him, critique him, judge him, like, oh, you're already getting this stuff, and then you're going to the store and you find more stuff. Like, yeah, why not? He can afford it, he buys it, he's participating in like affiliate programs, he's getting paid, he still collects things too, he sells stuff on Whatnot, he sells stuff on eBay probably, I don't know. I enjoy his videos. But like, people like to talk shit. So I was talking to these two guys in private chat, and this one guy in particular, I'll call him Buddy. Buddy was like, oh man, fucking Lamley, man, what a shill, I fucking hate that dude, man, everything's given to him, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but like, who cares, man? And he's like, oh, like, whatever, man, that's not fair. I'm like, what's not fair? Because you're not as successful as him? But, I joked around back with him. I'm like, yeah, man, I can't believe, like, no, I didn't say that. I forget what I said. But, like, I was kind of, like, playing along with him to kind of get more out of him. And he just was, like, unleashing shit on this guy. And then, one day, I'm watching his live stream. He loves live streams with his private audience. And somehow, Lamley was in there. And he left a comment. Oh no, it wasn't a live. Because he is private people. So I don't think Lamley was his private person. So he left a comment like, hey man, hey buddy, I enjoyed your video or something like that, or made some kind of comment. And guess what? This guy who like talked all this shit about Lamley, all of a sudden he's like, oh man, Lamley, what's his name, Lambert or something? I don't know. But he's like, bro, thank you so much for leaving a comment. I got so much respect for you, bro. I love you. I love your videos. And I'm just like 2 months ago, here's what you wrote. Fuck you. And that guy I was very close with. There's a lot more stuff. I'm gonna make more videos talking about this, and I'll fill you guys in on the really juicy things about these people and what I learned. Because I actually started like a little project. I made a video about it before I went into it to legitimize it. But I wanted to do a social experiment and got into the diecast community because I'm a collector too, and I'm a YouTuber, and I was like, I want to see what happens if I, start collecting Hot Wheels even more, and get into the community, learn about people. I'm into anthropology, like psychology, stuff like that, to learn about things. Like I really love that stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna do an innocent thing. I'm already into this. I'm not fake about it. I'm not pretending. It's not like a fake thing. I'm a collector. I'm a YouTuber. I'm already doing all this. So I'm like, I'm gonna be more active in the diecast community. So I got into that clique, and I learned so much, guys. So more videos coming soon. This video is quite long, but I just wanted to kind of talk about like the regressive progression of YouTube and collecting and collectors. And but yeah, isn't that messed up? Like how double-sided, two-faced people are. That was just a small innocent example of, a lot of people do that. It's, human nature kind of. But yeah, it's the same person that on his YouTube channel he used to say he would like kind of do gatekeeping and make rules for collectors, which I kind of found like left a sour taste in my mouth. And he's like, it sounds good when he's saying it, but you have to practice what you preach, right? And so he was like teaching his community that, hey guys, true collectors, don't worry about value, don't worry about the money part of it. You found a super, and you found a super treasure hunt. Super treasure hunts are like the little grails of Hot Wheels that are hard to find. There's a little emblem on there, they're shiny with rubber tires, for those of you that don't know. And he's like, when you're trading with each other, guys, don't get all like, greedy. You both have a super that you both found for $1.15 at the time. Now they're expensive. And he's like, anyway, so they're both worth $1. Just, you want this one, you want this one, switch, everybody's happy. And then I was like, okay. So I was like, I want to trade with you, buddy. And we made a trade. But when we started talking about what we want to trade for, and it wasn't just one thing, we traded a few times. Some of them were fair, but he would forget things we agreed on. I wouldn't get everything that I asked for sometimes, but I let it go. But yeah, that day when we were trying to trade supers for supers, guess who decided to go back on their rule for all of y'all collectors out there? And yeah, I'm like, hey man, I got this super, it's actually valuable, and I really want that one you have. You have like 3 of them. And boy, did that conversation take long. For about a week, we were going back and forth, trying to figure out how to equal out his internal value of what he's sending me over what I'm sending him. And that whole super for super, one for one, out the window, man. Out the window. So a lot of that was happening, not just Buddy. It was with a bunch of people, and not that I didn't get screwed over by other traders, but I watched people make videos about like, hey, what the hell, and there was a lot of stuff. So yeah, man. The collecting community is not just diecast. I'm just talking from experience, so I can give you examples. But it's become this social media nightmare. And there are positive, good people. I met them. I keep in touch with those. We trade. We help each other. We raise money for Ukraine as well with my fundraiser for Ukraine that I do on my other channel a lot. Then I send the money to Ukraine. But yeah, back then, dude, like just watching it all devolve from beauty, passion, and memories and nostalgia, camaraderie, friendships, to business, YouTube fame, narcissism, just backstabbing, talking about each other in a bad way, just putting each other down to bring themselves up. And that's why I started kind of like, okay, I'm backing away. And yeah, there's another story about all that later in future videos. I'm wrapping this up now. I'll keep talking about different stories that I had with my experiences with over the years. I'm gonna go way back to when I started YouTube. And yeah, and that's kind of what led me to being a minimal collector. But yeah, this, believe it or not, is not that much, especially compared to what I had, especially compared to what you see on social media. You know, I don't need to convince you. If you ever look at TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and people are showing their collection and stuff like that, it's mind blowing. Like tens of thousands of items, just floor to ceiling, ceilings covered with shit. So, yeah, I demonetized my other channel. I don't want it to be about that ever. I tried a few times to kind of, it grew, you know, it has over 10,000 subs on there. But that was all like natural progression. I was never like shilling for subs, shilling for, you know, whatever. It just naturally happened. If people like me, I said subscribe. And often I said unsubscribe if you don't really like it. It's totally cool. So yeah. Okay, guys. I'm gonna stop now because I've been rambling for way too long. I have a lot to say about this, and I will say even more in the future. And there's some amazingly juicy stories that I want to share with you guys. So if you like this sort of thing, subscribe. Comment. You don't have to like, but if you liked it, like it. I'm not monetized on this channel either, but the algorithm needs some kind of feedback so it can like share my videos. So I would like to reach out to more people, not for profit, but just for engagement, for people to maybe learn things. Maybe I can give you guys advice. You can teach me back with whatever knowledge you have. And, you know, that's what the community or collecting community should be about. Look out for bad things, focus on the good things, collect what you like, and most importantly, own your collection. Don't let your collection own you. It's that simple. Peace and love, everyone.